I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is our monthly department head meeting, and we'll start off from building and maintenance.
Okay, we've got the third floor projects finally done. Got the girls moved in last week, or the week before I should say. We're just, I put a countertop in there and they're completely done. So I'm gonna fall back and start taking care of a bunch of little things that's been neglected for a while. I'm gonna start doing some painting and touch up and try to get some of these ceiling tiles fixed.
Okay.
Then we'll get next week or two get prepared. If the weather stays nice, we're gonna have to start getting outside and do a few things. So get the lawn equipment out and serviced and make sure it's ready to go. But other than that, it's just normal.
So it's completely finished.
Like I said, I got the countertop to put in for over their files for their that shelving unit there. That is done. Yeah,
okay.
They filled it up quick.
Oh, all that you use Formica, or is it?
I just built it out of wood.
Oh, okay.
The Formica, I've done it for about a third of the cost of Formica and just stained it to me to match the
that's good.
dust and stuff. So,
Cool.
So it'll look good.
Yeah.
Have you had any luck on finding someone for the floor repair?
Floor repair.
On our floor project throughout the courthouse?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. Before I went to the floor, the steps. He didn't have time. My marble guy, they showed up at 5 o'clock in my house, so he said next time he's in this area, he needs to go.
Okay.
And I'll start getting on that too. I'll make a few more calls. There's the other guys around.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go with fire mitigation.
We have one crew trying to burn piles just north of the airport there on South Park Ridge. Sheriff's office is trying to get some calls.
Yeah, okay.
With the way the weather's been, it's probably about the last time we'll be able to burn. Because I think the next time the weather changes, it'll dry out too quick and won't be able to burn. So we're trying to get as much done right now as we can.
Okay.
As far as for me, I'm trying to get 2 reimbursements done. Working with Peggy, trying to get some stuff straightened out with the accounts. And then on the other side of that, I put in for 2 more grants mid-month. I'll hear about them probably in November. And the one grant that I'm still waiting for the MOU, supposed to be here probably the second week in April.
Okay.
And we'll start working on that.
So you already got jobs lined up for the summer? Are they coming in now, or are they?
I've got a whole
list of
and names of people who want work done.
Okay.
More people calling every day.
Good.
That's a good thing.
We just gotta have the money.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Roads.
So our Murray crews are working on opening Thompson Pass. They coordinate with Montana every year, and that should be open to the public by the end of this week. So an announcement will be made when they can do that and both sides are open. Our guys from Osborne moved up to Moon Pass to start their operations of punching that road open. So we'll see how that goes. There's quite a bit of ice up there, but way less snow accumulation than normal. So we should be in good shape. We're going to do some repairs to the roadway this year. We're going to bring some material in and do a few little improvements to that road as well. So a little bit of an operation. It's nice that we're able to get in there a little bit early and get started on that. Other than that, the other districts are doing their sweeping, spring cleaning, sweeping, tons of patching, a lot of patching, especially in District 2. They've been trying to just not start at one end and move their way down. They've been trying to hit up the gulches and east end, west end, and there's a lot of patching to be done. So they've been out and they'll continue to be out. We're going to start our grading operations when the ground dries out just a little bit more. And then the Country Club Bridge replacement going up to the golf course, that started on the 18th of this month. And that should be wrapped up within, 30 days of their start date. So everything seems to be going on schedule there. The Moon Gulch Bridge project, it looks like we are going to be starting sometime mid-June to early July. And by next month's meeting, I should be able to update you on a more,
Okay.
firm timeframe. That they've got 44 working days to complete from start to finish. So it'll be approximately, they work Monday through Friday, approximately 2 months, or so that they'll be, doing some work down there on that bridge.
Okay.
So we have been hit with a rash of sign thefts in the majority of our districts. It's been pretty heavy in District 2, which is the Smelterville district. We've had some complaints in District 3, District 4, and then we always have them in District 1 of the river. I thought to mention it today because we do have a $4,000 sign budget. And just to kind of put it out there to the public, if anybody sees anybody, stealing signs or messing with the signs, please call the sheriff's office and let them know. The signs are very expensive. Depending on the sign, it's about $50 a piece, sometimes more. And I was notified by the sheriff's office that somebody hit the Bumblebee area pretty hard in the last week or so, and they removed all of the parking signs up there. No parking between signs, no parking on pavement, and so our department will have to come up with the funds to replace the signs so that the sheriff's office can regulate the parking situation there coming in the summer. So if anybody sees anything, please report it. Don't turn a blind eye. It's very costly.
Yeah, the taxpayers, they've got to come up with the money.
Yes.
If you send me kind of the details that you want out there, I'll write up a Facebook post.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
let's
be
ask our citizens, keep an eye out too and report them.
Yeah, because we're talking dozens of signs. It's not just a sign here and a sign there. It's literally dozens of signs that have been stolen. Sometimes they'll take the whole post. Sometimes they'll just take the sign. We've tried deterrence, but nothing seems to be helping.
What is it? Is that basically vandalism? Is it just theft? Vandalism and theft? Maybe get them both?
Are they recyclable, or is it money of value to them?
They're metal.
People think
They're metal, yeah.
But can they take them as recyclers?
I think the recyclers would probably notify us.
Public signs, you can't take those.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt just to give recycling places a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're aluminum, because some of them are aluminum, aren't they?
Or stainless steel, and that's when there's some value in it.
And in the past, anytime people try to recycle things like that, they usually contact us and say, hey, just a heads up, this particular person is bringing this type of, material in, and it's a little suspicious. So.
Yeah, very frustrating. We did get some good news earlier this week. We did receive word that we were approved for an additional $100,000 through an LRIP that we applied for through LTAC, and it's going to be for some more shipping of Pine Creek. So now we have 2 LRIPs that we can use up there. So that's going to be good. That roadway is just in terrible shape. So we'll be doing some repair work up there.
Good.
And we'll be doing some shipping as well. So, yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? No. So we'll go with Mike. We skipped you. Yeah, you just went.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I just have a quick thing. Just a quick update on our diversion program for adults, the ILED program. We have 2 active participants, and they're doing well. Attending treatment and drug testing is going well, and they're both employed, so good situation so far. And we're just in the infancy and getting it started, so it's good to have that functioning in our community. Misdemeanor probation has also had the opportunity to provide some referrals for treatment, so they could have an active treatment group. So we have some of those folks going through. That's a huge plus for us in Shoshone County, because we've lost our provider for the county, county-wide.
So basically, you're able to use the ILED. You're able to use the person we have as a counselor for the juveniles.
At this initial phase, we
Yeah.
do that so we can have an active group.
Yeah.
It's really hard to have a group with just 2 folks.
Yeah.
So that we've got some referrals released, and just walk next door. So that's a huge plus. We've never had that before. So it's encouraging
Good.
to just have that resource in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Our treatment court, was at 2 people at one point here in January. Now we're back up to 7, and looking at a new person, so that's revving back up and getting busy. And we have about, I think it's 61 cases of misdemeanor probation. Our juvenile caseload is lower at this time, and we have under 20 active diversionary cases,
Mm-hmm.
and also active juvenile probation cases. So those are our numbers, and that's where we're at.
Good. So it's kind of slowing down a little bit, or is it just the time of year that's?
Probation has been slowing down. Juvenile probation has been slowing down. Misdemeanors is pretty steady numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we're in the 50s or 60s for those folks, and we're just building up our treatment court numbers. That have actually been lower. So we've got an increase there. So it's a father's time getting people into appropriate programs where they're not being incarcerated as much and actually not costing taxpayers as much money.
Good.
And hopefully those folks don't have to see places like prison.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
being successful, I feel, at this point, especially with our new folks, it's always an emotional roller coaster because they're just getting their feet back on the ground after being out there either drinking or using illegal substances.
Okay. All right.
Good progress.
Good. That sounds good. Appreciate it. Sheriff.
So we're getting ready for our annual jail inspection. That should be happening in April. We have all the preliminary work done. We just have to wait for the inspector to come on site. We definitely won't pass the inspection in one area specifically, which is capacity.
Okay.
Meaning every day we're over capacity. We're over 40, holding 48 inmates, so that's going to be an automatic fail on that end. But everything else last year turned out well, so I'm hoping to have that again this year, knowing that we're not going to pass the capacity. So they've been busy doing that. We've been having department head meetings once a month, so that each division can get together and kind of talk about what's going right, what's going wrong, how can we fix it. During those meetings, we incorporate some sort of training. Like detention just had a meeting last week, and they worked on practicing their wrap that they got. It's like a giant burrito that you can put combatives in. It just wraps them up like in a tight blanket, so they can't use their arms and their legs too much. So they practiced on that. We also had a pretty significant fire drill that we did just to make sure that we are practicing getting inmates out of cells and things when there's danger in the building. Moving on to the patrol world, we've had recently a pretty severe uptick in child sex crime. It's pretty typical this time of year, and it gets more significant as the summer comes because that's when everybody's out camping and you have alcohol and tent, and it's just not a good thing. So what we're doing to try and prepare for that, and it's not just the child sex crime, but it's also just like family violence. In those cases, need particular attention paid to them. It's not like taking a theft of a candy bar report. We need to take our time on those cases. So we're actually opening up another detective position and allowing people to test for it, so that we have at least 2 people working those violent crimes, so that we can make sure they get handled appropriately. I've been doing a ton of research, and I regret to say I haven't been very successful, but I've been doing a bunch of research on other sheriff's offices in the nation that that are looking for alternative funding sources, different grants, just thinking outside of the box on some things that we could do to generate some money. I haven't really been too successful on that, but I'll keep looking.
Appreciate that.
We're also trying to find some grants that we're having Colleen help us, but we're trying to find some grants that'll pay for our community outreach. Because I've got a team over there that really wants to do community outreach, and we just don't really have the money. We don't have funding for that specifically, so we're just going to look for grants to see if we can get those cool hats to give the kids
Yeah,
and all
okay.
that neat stuff. Because
Yeah.
what prompted it is every time we go to some sort of community event, the fire department always looks
Yes.
better than we do, and we're tired of it.
Yeah.
We want to at least compete with the fire department. So that's on the horizon. This is the time of year where calls are going to start coming in. As soon as we start getting our visitors and people start getting ready for summer, it's going to be extremely busy. I anticipate our call volume probably going up quite significantly. Thankfully, we're at full staff. We've maintained full staff all year, with the exception of some detention deputies that moved out of the career, like they moved on to a different career field. And then we, of course, lost our captain who moved to another state. But I can't hold it against him. He moved to, I want to say, Washington or Oregon. And deputies in Washington and Oregon get paid a lot more than they do here. So he can't hold that against him. Plus, he has a beautiful view of the ocean. Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I guess. That's not my thing. That ocean scares me. But anyway, aside from that, we're just trying to get ready for the summer. We're going to start implementing some training for different types of disaster scenarios. I kind of talked to you in brief about it. So we're trying to figure out, the sheriff's office historically has not been great preparing for countywide or statewide emergencies. And so I just want to start small and just I'm going to make up a scenario in my head, throw it out to my people. Hey, this just happened. What do we need to do? And start doing some tabletop scenarios on, what in the community do we need to protect? If we get an influx of people from other areas, what type of infrastructure do we need to protect? Pharmacies, supermarkets, hospitals, stuff like that. So we're just going to kind of think outside of the box on it, and we're not just going to necessarily make it a natural disaster. We're just going to, with the climate of the nation, I just worry that, I want to make sure that we're doing the right things to protect our community, but also, if we lose internet, it's very difficult unless we drive street by street to notify people of what's going on. So maybe just communicating to the public of how they could hear our message via ham radio or just something, and that maybe prepare them to have the resources at home to be able to hear important messages. Just the little things that make a big difference. So it's kind of
That areas down that you could maybe
That's
help a
how
little.
We're coordinating.
Yeah.
Now, can you guys use like AM radio? Is there an AM radio broadcasting system here anymore?
There's various people that do it. There's a group of people that are active in it. We recently had an exercise with Kootenai and other counties a year and a half ago, and that was really successful because it brought out those people. You'd be surprised how many people are out there that have radios, and they can become part of that network of communication when all systems are down. So that was, so now we kind of have a better idea of who those people are, and so when the time comes, there is some networking to be able to utilize people and be able to get messages. And there's new advancements in ham radio that there's new programs that allow you to basically email through the ham radio. So you can transfer critical information really fast. And normally it's hard to do verbally.
that would require internet though?
No, it transfers via the ham radio. So,
Oh wow, that's amazing.
and so it comes out the other.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
And so it is pretty. It's an amazing step in being able to utilize when the internet is down. So so yeah, there is. We've got Russ Allred is the IT guy at Nutritional Medical, and he's the president of the local chapter per se. And so definitely got somebody on board that's part of our stakeholders anyway. And then there's a handful of citizens that are active participants in that group. So, and they trained with us in that exercise. And so we keep doing that and keep bringing that up. That was, and one of our future goals for SHSB projects is supplying ham radios in some way, shape, or form to dispatch, to deputies, to ambulance and EMS, so that when all systems are down, there's still a way to communicate.
Okay.
So that's in the thought process anyway.
Good.
To finish up, another thing we're doing is today and tomorrow, we're doing testing for a dispatch supervisor. Currently, we have Casey Van Buskirk, and he's the guy in charge, right? And I just never feel like we're doing our job if we're not preparing people to lead in the future. And I never think it's a good idea when only one person has all the critical information. So we're going to select somebody out of this. We have citizens, fire chiefs, all sorts of things coming into Oral Board, and we have different testing set up, but that's something that we'll see coming in the future.
That's good.
That's about all I have today.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So our construction's starting to gear up on the roads, but hopefully if your deputies are just happen to be through there, feel free to enforce even with warnings to start off. But
Yes, ma'am.
I've noticed the ISPs coming out, and I've noticed the signage, a lot more signage, so I think they're trying to keep their promise to us.
Yeah, I hope so. We actually just had some problems right before I came over this morning, so
Shoot.
yeah. Just people driving recklessly, a little too fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, ISP's been great. They've really been in our area quite a bit, which is twofold in a way, because the more they're in our area, the more people they put in the jail.
Yeah.
But you know, at least their arrests are legitimate. I mean, it's not little things; they're big things that they're arresting people for. But I'll definitely keep an eye on that, and I will let the deputies know.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anything else? P&Z.
I want to say much the same, but it's more of the same. We've had a pretty good uptick in building permits every time the sun shines a little bit. I think we get 2 more applications. People are sitting there waiting for the sun to shine, and so that's expected. That's normal. We got through the approval of the Mountain Overlay District, so we're in the final steps of getting that published, and so that becomes in effect. We have the drafts of the revisions done to the road standards ordinance. That will come back through pre-review, and then we'll get that noticed up. We'll work on getting that noticed up for the hearing to bring that back to you guys for hopefully a final go through on that one. Our next ambition will be to take on. We need to put together something in short order for fee structure and for RV, tiny home, park model definitions, and some guidance on how to regulate that. And that's a big apple to chew, but because it's very quickly, how do you differentiate living in versus using versus recreating, and then how do we create rules that are fair for everybody but still get the enforcement message across. So that'll be our next goal. All the communities in the state are fighting the same battle. It's super difficult to enforce. It's super difficult to have meaningful rules and regulations, but you know, we got to start somewhere. We got to have something, and usually we don't have clear enough definitions, and so it's difficult to determine if somebody's actually violating something or not. You know, and so we want to tighten those definitions so at least we have something to have some teeth on the more egregious situations. Other than that, we're gearing up. We're getting ready for summer. We think this summer is probably going to be. We're now getting all the phone calls about what to do, how to do it. That means eventually we're going to get a permit that goes with that. So we expect this spring to be fairly busy. And that's about as much as I can think of for planning and zoning. Emergency management, similar. We got through the workshop in Kootenai with the 5 northern counties. That was a 2-day workshop for that. I Love You Guys. The group came in and did the reunification center workshop where we learned how to create these reunification centers during a large-scale event. How do you evacuate, you know, a good number of people, whatever that number is, 30 or 300, and where do you take them to, and how do you reunite families together, particularly when it comes to a high school situation, and how do you get 200 students moved somewhere and then their parents reunited with them. There's a whole lot of steps in there if you didn't realize. How do you control that and then make that happen fast? So the beautiful thing about that is because Kootenai did that, we now have this actually it's a workshop in a kit, and it comes with all the paraphernalia and the flyers and the scenario and the PowerPoints and the whole thing to where we can put on our own training classes locally. And so Scott Dietrich and I attended that class. And so we at least have some insight on how to do that. It's likely we would bring in somebody that has a little more experience with that exercise, but they could bring that in. We'd have the toolkit to be able to put on a really meaningful class. And it was really neat to see the forms and see the brochures and see the different things that you would actually use during an event like that. That makes it really helpful. It's not just put everybody in the field and hope they figure out who their kid is, you know. So, and there's a bunch of legal things that come with, you know, when you move students, you're in control of them, and you can't just let them go to anybody. Even though it's an emergency situation, you still can't let them go with a parent that shouldn't be taking them. And that parent will show up and take their kid whether or not they have custody or not, and that kind of thing. So there's a process for that. And so we did that, and that was super helpful. I've been working on with the LEPC folks to put together a workshop for utilization of our mass casualty unit trailer. We got that out a month or two ago, and the fire districts have been going through it inventory-wise and getting rid of some of the old medical equipment. And then we're going to work on a project to re-outfit it with some more equipment, but also to be able to utilize it. Nobody knows we even have it. Barely anybody knows we have it or what's in it. And so during a large-scale event, there's a bunch of equipment in there that would be utilized by first responders. And so the workshop will be to get everybody together and actually set up some tents and set up some, go through the trailer and figure out what's in there and how to utilize it. And then set up those people that during an event, who would be the people that we would lean on to get it there, open it, use it, and then restock it. And mostly that'll be through fire and that. So that's in the works. And probably late summer we'll look to do that. We'll kind of guide that around fires. Other than that, we're continuing to work on projects for SHSP. We've taken the next steps I mentioned last month of radio projects for Osborne Fire and Osborne PD and Mullen Fire Department, some radio projects for them, and I'm continuing to work with BJ on. We've put together 3 or 4 projects for cybersecurity enhancement, which will utilize 21, 22, and 23 lines. And so we're steadfastly working forward on that.
Hey Dan, on the emergency response for the children and finding out where they need to go, is that something that the schools will be involved in as training? Just because if we did have a situation like that, law enforcement would be over capacity. We wouldn't be able to facilitate
Well, they have to.
Okay.
In that, you know, most events are going to be involving schools, or that's where the reunification center is going to be, is at one of the schools. That's always a difficult task because you can't do that in the middle of the day, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to early evacuate one school so the business can evacuate there. Mm-hmm. And that has to be part of your planning and thought process. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Looks like we're running out of time. Do you have any questions right now?
No.
No. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you for the updates, and thank you for the hard work.
Thank you.
I'll adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Great.